YouTube, Brian Phillips here again. I want to get you up to speed on the build, which has come not as far this week, but we did get some big stuff done, which is pretty cool. And so we're going to show you stage 1 of the Runway system and network. Stage 1 has been poured, which is really cool. And I didn't realize, but they pulled the forms off of there today.
Oh.
So basically, this is a 6-inch thick fiber reinforced, like parking lot grade. It was expensive, but I drive a big truck for work in addition to my other truck that you guys have seen, which is also 9,200 pounds. So basically, because I have a big truck, I need to have a thick and heavy duty driveway. So lucky for me, I get to pay for that. Anyway, this is the first step, and let's show them the second step. You can kind of see they've been moving the driveway over, and give them a line on this, hon. This is straight up and down. We just basically just marked our extremities, and then if you turn around and show them the other way, this is where the future site is going to have, we're going to have a building over here at some point, but the building is going to favor to this side. So when we take off, we'll be going straight ahead. And so the only topographical issue is that we do have a little bit of a hill to deal with. So we're trying to kind of manage that. So we're going to bring the grade up a little bit so that we can contour the road down there. And hopefully we're going to do it in such a way that people don't pull in and think, wow, what a nice runway in front of this beautiful house. But they are going to secretly know that it's a runway if they know me. So anyway, that's what we've got so far. We'll just give you a closer look. I'm sure we can probably walk on it because they cut it today.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, the cuts, they cut it today. Still, oh, it's good. Come on up. So this is about 30, what is this? What is this, like 37 feet wide?
Yeah, I think so.
And
something
then
like that.
So far it's, I think the first pour we had included 20 feet. So that stopped about here. So we're like about, yeah, we're about that much this deep. And when it's calm like this, you can take off from virtually any angle because we have the sidewalk here that shoots all the way down there. And so you have about 50, 60 feet there. And then we're going to have about 60 feet out this direction. And then we're going to have about 180, 190 feet this way, which is pretty cool. It's not as much as 1,220 feet, but it's going to be, I mean, we've got all sorts of crosswind paths, and it's really exciting. And there's one more runway I got to show you. And I mean, some of you are home probably thinking, Brian, these aren't runways. They are runways, and I will prove it to you. So we'll go around back and show you. Okay. My camera crew has informed me that I need to show you the walkway. So we did these sweep things because we like the way it looks, and because it's thick concrete on this pad, the guy was like, I'm just going to pour it all thick, which is pretty cool because we didn't technically pay for the extra thick concrete here, and we technically didn't pay for the fiber reinforced and rebar. They would have just rebarred a 4-inch pad for this, and then of course they use rebar for the steps. So as you walk down, it gets wider. And it does look nice. They did a good job. Fiberglass mix gives a ton of tensile strength to the concrete, and of course the rebar also does that. So you're pretty much double covered. And a 6-inch walkway is pretty stupid. I mean, you don't do a 6-inch walkway. I mean, I could drive my vehicles on here and it's not going to break it. So, or my gigantic airplanes that are less than 5 feet wide. The only compromise was I lost my square edge here for takeoffs. And that was kind of a thing, so
You'll
anyway.
probably be okay.
My wife says I'll be okay.
So the
She'll
only
have to console me.
Yeah, the only thing left, you wish. The only thing left out here is stone
So
around the columns, and then where the Tyvek is still
I don't
showing.
know if they're going to go all the way to the bottom and then all the way over there. They're not going to do the face of the concrete there. But they did a nice job of fixing this too.
Oh yeah.
Which, honestly, for us, it was just this little artistic detail here that they added, and it looks really nice because then it mimics the way they looked over here.
Yep.
And we love the way it turned out, and so it's super inviting, and we're really happy with the way it turned out. Our concrete guy has been really good. And our flat work guy specifically has been really good. Our foundation guy, he did an all right job, but they had some weather related things that put them up against, they were winning, they had cold joints in like 7 spots, which is basically uncontrollable when you're pouring in the rain and you have trucks that are late. And I think that's what happened, but it's still structurally sound. It's just frustrating when you have to deal with that. These guys have done phenomenal work, so we're excited to let them do all the way out to the road. And by the way, at the road, one of the biggest things we've run into out here is that even though we have a 1,220 foot runway, which if you haven't heard me explain this, from the intersection to the first bend is 1,220 feet per Google. So it's really like almost a proper runway. The only complication is that we do have the actual power lines. And I don't want to run into power lines. I can fly under that, but takeoffs and landings might be a little bit tricky. We do have a void of trees here, so we'll probably have like a base leg turn and then onto the runway when we're using our runway. And then when we're using the public runway, then it's a little bit different because we have a long straightaway and it works really nice. So the approach, there'll be a wide mouth that goes out onto the road and giving us a place to stand so that we can be off of the highway and fly. So we're going to take you around back for real this time.
Okay.
So one little quick update. You may have noticed we did a bunch of expansion joints. And the reason for that is, first of all, we did a heavier expansion joint. And then we did multiple sets of this. And the whole idea is, in our climate, the brick that some people like to call it peel and stick, but it's just going to be applied on here. It's a manufactured stone. It's not real stone. And it's not real brick. But it's beautiful and we love it. But this is going to go down here and stop somewhere. Well, if you stop right at the top of the concrete and you don't have any expansion joint to go underneath it, then as the pads lift, they can pop the stones off, which is why we're choosing not to do a dry stack. And that's something to keep in mind. So this runway here will actually technically extend all the way out to here. I'm going to have our concrete guy probably do here. And then this is going to go around the side. And then we'll have even one more runway. So, I mean, some people call it concrete. I call it runway.
It's a sidewalk.
The sidewalk.
Yes.
And so it's going to come up here, and then it'll terminate for later continuation back here. So now we'll actually show you the back, but we're probably going to turn on lights real quick. This is the other thing, guys, that happened this week. It wasn't done last week, was it?
No, I think it was actually. I don't know.
Well, we can open the garage doors now, which is super nice,
Super
guys.
nice.
Super nice. Loving it. So we'll see you on the other side.
Okay.
Okay, guys, so this is the back of the house. And as you can see, we have another runway here. It's just a little shorter runway.
Also sometimes known as a patio.
I mean, some people call it a patio. I call it a runway. So the thing that's really cool about this is that when it's windy, and when I say windy, I mean when it's mildly windy, you can come back here and fly, and there's this bowl, this geographic bowl, where you can fly, and it's going to be really cool. And show them the sunset over here. That's so pretty. Love looking at that. So, and then this wraps. This we didn't curve because we're going to have river rock and stuff like that over there. And then it wraps, and it's just going to go underneath the stairway, which we have currently jacked up right now to allow them to finish the concrete underneath the lip. And here, in probably another day or so, they're going to let this jack stuff out, and they're going to let it down onto the concrete, so we have a nice, solid, finished work on this flat work. And we did not curve that because there's a good possibility that this may extend in some manner at some point someday.
And this patio is the same size as the deck, just turned the opposite direction, so we have some shaded and some that would be out in the sun.
So you can have your table out here and you can sit in the sun if you want, or you can go into the shade. But these lights just happen to be off because I locked myself out. So we're going to go resolve that in a minute. And then we're going to take you inside because there's a few other things that happened this week. And I keep forgetting some of these things that are happening. There's just so much going on right now that it's almost hard for us to keep it straight. So we'll take you inside next. So we turn these lights on just so you guys can get an idea. We have a question for you people that have done this before. One thing that we've been having trouble with our builder on is covering up these brackets. I know it seems like a minor detail, but we did go with the composite deck just mostly because despite some of your thoughts, we're not independently wealthy. We have to pay for all this stuff. And so they put LP siding to wrap the columns up top to make it more pretty. And that was kind of like a make right on another project, which is totally weird. But the whole point is, then we're left with these brackets in this weird spot. And I think what our builder needs to do is get LP siding, even though we use James Hardy plank siding, which is cement board or concrete board or whatever you want to call that. This stuff is extremely heavy duty, and that stuff is also really heavy duty. And they both have really good warranties. And it just comes down to geographically what you want, what type of warranty you want. But I think that they should wrap the sides and just cover it and then paint it white like trim. So we're going to leave that out there. Let us know in the comments what you think. If you've got ideas on covering the brackets, keep in mind there's only 2 brackets here and then a bracket here that's exposed. We're not talking about the brackets underneath. We don't care about the ones underneath. We just care about the ones on the side. So let us know what you think in the comments on that. And then we're going to take you into the basement and show you what's changed. I love this threshold. It's so low.
Yeah, I know. That's like,
it's like hardly
so
anything.
nice for the kids.
It's only going to be bad if we have a lot of watershed issues.
Yeah.
I don't suspect we will because we technically have a roof above it.
True.
So as you can see, we have basement with lights on, which is kind of handy. I don't remember if that got covered. This week we ran into a minor glitch on the ceiling, and I'm actually not going to elaborate on it for the sake of our builder. And I don't really think it was his fault, except that it completely was his fault. And I warned him 4 months ago, and it was completely avoidable. So I'm just not going to bring it up for sake of embarrassment for him and frustration for us. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. But they redid the ceiling. Look at this. It's beautiful.
Yep. And the lights are on.
We didn't even want it. So
yay. They hung the door that you're walking through.
They hung the door. Wow, look. It's not painted.
Really helpful with the wall over there.
It's not painted, and it doesn't have a handle, so they'll have to be putting in a doorknob. And I don't think they're gonna really want to paint it, but I suspect I'm probably gonna have them paint it. And then probably trim it like the rest of the doors. I'm not sure yet on that. So come on in, nothing's really changed in here, but we'll just give you the quick 10,000 foot view. It looks like the dehumidifier has moved, which is strange. I'm not sure why. The other thing that's happened down here is basically a fire alarm. The bulkhead, as you guys know, we didn't cover this area. We only needed so much of it for code. There's a shelf here, as my builder put it, the cheapest shelf that he could get at Home Depot, I think is what he said. And that's to hold this hammer arrestor, which again, I thought was a little bit strange because I kind of figured they would just strap it to the wall with like, you know, plumber strap. But I kind of like having this because then I can use it for something else as well. And these things are supposed to be suspended. Also, our water heater is supposedly on. I saw a flash. It's a flash. It's the first time. And because we pretty much put the switch in the on condition and plugged it into the wall, and it never seems to want to start for us. So we are going to see if there's hot water, which will be super exciting, and it's going to film great.
Yes.
You guys saw the ground. This is the box we were discussing. This is removable so that I can get to the wiring as necessary. And of course, we tied up the wires. So the basement is pretty much, I don't want to say it's totally done, but from the builder's perspective, it's done. And I'm really happy with the way the utilities turned out. I mean, I wrote them hard on it. I mean, I can't believe how hard I had to write them on it, but it turned out really nice. They had like kind of the big 10,000 foot view of getting things neat, but I had to really push to get the vents and the wiring and the different things so they were going to be out of the way. When you close all this stuff in and still have a usable area, and you guys will see this area in the videos because we're going to have a shop in here. Haven't figured out the exact elimination of rooms, but it's going to be really nice and you guys are going to love it. We're going to take you upstairs next.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just going to walk up the stairs. I don't know if you guys have seen the stairway.
our window.
Yeah, you can see the reflection. It's pretty cool from the backyard. You can see in
See
and all the things. This is the window that yours truly wanted. And my wife still thinks I'm crazy for having needed it or wanted it.
Yeah, kind of. Ooh, wow.
One of the things that's coming that we are super excited about in this property is being able to sit on the back deck and watch the sunset on the front of the house. So we have appliances installed, which is super exciting. Not sure exactly what's going on with this drawer, why it's out, but evidently somebody took it out, and I think it was to fix a minor detail. So basically, this is what happens when you have an LP range that doesn't have the LP conversion. So
Yep.
this is a natural gas or LP. There's a conversion. I don't know if it's an orifice or it is a regulator, but they have to install it. And I believe that's why that's out, so they can simply get down to it. And ironically enough, some of these seem to work pretty good.
And some of them are.
And some of them
scary.
are crazy, like this one. Or excuse me, that's not the one.
The front one is crazy.
It's just nutty. I mean, look how high that's going. It's like it's like a jet engine, which is also awesome. So anyway, this is, we really like the stove.
Yeah.
We've had some issues with the fridge. Evidently, other people have had the same issue. It sounds like a picky thing. You guys, you know me, I'm not picky.
Not at all.
But this stainless doesn't match the stainless on, and so you don't
It's
know
not
what to
the
do
same.
about it. And it's not stainless here, it's plastic. We were super disappointed by that. Because at the store, they're all side to side to side to side to side to side, and nobody asks. So, but I digress. We may end up getting a countertop depth.
Did they see the rain shed?
And we installed this.
Did we show them that last week?
Yeah, this is what we were talking about, guys. It covers up the exhaust vent, and then basically we've got a light, and then on full speed, you'll notice it's not rattling like crazy. So basically, in this range hood, we have two light settings. We have intense and crazy light, then we have barely on. You can change the speed and you can change the clock and you can do all sorts of things if you want to use some like voodoo magic to set the clock.
Yeah.
We're probably just going to turn it off. And Megan's decals have been working really good. Then also on this thing, you can actually take these out for cleaning, which I am sort of reluctant to do because I'm not 100% sure exactly how they come out, but they do come out for cleaning, which is super nice. This does exhaust outside. The Cavalier line, you can do self-exhausting into the living space. I believe you get a filter for that.
Yep, comes with it.
It comes with a filter.
Mhm,
Which
I think so.
Where is our filter? So we need to figure out where that is. But these things in our house is actually going out a 6-inch line.
Yep.
Outside of the house. So it's just like in your restroom or anything like that. And then the dishwasher is just a matching. We like Frigidaire appliances. The one thing we didn't like about our Frigidaire appliances in our current house was basically our dishwasher. And we like the ones upstairs enough that we actually got more for our downstairs when we finished our basement.
And we upgraded this one to like the stainless steel tub and stuff. So instead of the plastic, so we're hoping
Right.
it's
But
a little better.
Frigidaire is still one of the most economical lines.
Bang for the buck.
It's really hard to beat it.
Yep.
And the thing is, guys, you can always buy more appliances. You really can. And I mean, we aren't gonna. We'll just live with these. We'll live with these until
Forever.
the day we die.
Yes.
Or move.
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is at this point. But we're really happy with the way everything except for the fridge has worked out. This depth issue is not a huge issue for me, but my wife is not crazy about it. So we'll figure it out. And we'll show you next the washroom. Okay guys, so come on in. These are our dinky washer and dryer. The good news is you can get into both of them just fine. and it's just the perfect size for my wife to lean against the wall.
I was gonna say the good news is you don't do laundry.
That's also true. So basically, we had them out today, and doesn't look like they did anything on them.
Oh, is the dryer leveled?
The dryer is leveled, but they were going to put in a 90 on our water lines because there's quite a bit of pressure on them. But beyond that, this does give a nice big work surface. We got these for a steal because they were like one of these things where they delivered and the customer came in and said
They're the wrong
supposed
color.
to be gray.
Yep.
So we didn't care if they were white or gray. I mean,
I don't.
it's not really an issue for us.
Here, I'll show them. Here, let me trade you.
Yeah.
If people care, they're Maytag. They're the direct drive. They're like the second down from the very top, and they have the little dispenser for detergent and stuff, so you can fill it, which I'm excited about. We did not do the pedestals in here because
It took away our headspace here.
yeah,
So you basically couldn't hang a shirt
nope.
because the size was what, 15
It's
inches?
like 15 inches for the pedestal.
So if you go 15 inches up, we could actually fit it here, but we just thought we were giving up something that we didn't need to give up.
Yep.
The other thing is these things will stack. We're used to top load washer and dryers. I know that really dates our current existence.
Yep.
But we haven't had a lot of problems with our washers and dryers. We've done some repairs, honestly, but we've been happy with them. We have what do we have, Cabrio?
We have old Whirlpool Cabrio ones.
The new ones are not supposed to be as good,
Yeah.
I guess, from what we've heard. So we did a ton, and when I say we, I mean my wife did a ton of research, and this is what we ended up. She does the laundry pretty much 100%.
Well, plus these are short, so it'll be easier for our kids to do the laundry. So that's my.
Exactly. And the only thing I'm not crazy about is this gap, which we're going to try to work
We'll
out.
have to build a
Try to
shelf.
build a shelf.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know that we're going to go so high end as to do like another piece of
Cords, probably not.
quartz, just because it's expensive and it's not really necessary. We might do a deep shelf that's going to mimic the look of this setup here, and just have that here floating just above them, and then make it so it can be popped out if we need to. But we're real happy with the way that turned out so far. And other than that, in the master bathroom, I think we had just some minor touch-ups. And when I say minor touch-ups, I have to untape the light switch. So there's one light missing, but this was one of the areas that was like the worst drywall in the house. And it was super frustrating because I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is the master bathroom. This is the bathroom that my wife is going to use. So the ones that are paying for the house, and then they just slobbed it together. So it was super frustrating for us. And the guy finally came out and did a really nice job. And they had to mask off all this stuff. So it's I don't know how they do it. I can't do drywall. I'm not good enough at it. I overwork it, and it just always looks bad. So they're finally getting the final touches on some of this stuff, and it's starting to come together. And we're really grateful for all the hard work. But at the same time, we're trying to kind of balance the letting people off the hook with screw ups and being completely a huge pain in the butt. And to be honest with you, I'd rather at the end of the day be a nice guy and still get the thing done. And there's been a lot of times where you just have to pick, I'm going to be a pain in the butt to get this done. It's not very fun to have to be the bad guy, but I guess I am paying the bill. So anyway, with that being said, you've got your update. We're really glad you guys are along for the ride. The house has turned out really, we're happy with the way it's turning out. And we're glad that you guys are motivated enough to see this process. And we hope that years down the road, we can go back and look at this and say, we're never building a house again.
Yes.
But also, at the same time, it is kind of cool to go through and see the week-by-week updates. Some of them are kind of minor now, we get it. But we should be moved in about 3 weeks. So, in 3 weeks, we'll be here if all goes as planned and nobody makes any massive screw-ups, which is totally on the table. But thanks for watching. Come back for more. We're supposed to get good weather this weekend. We may even do an RC video. Come back for more though.